This year, we are fortunate to be honoring two medical heroes. The first is Shari Locher, an operations supervisor with Rural Metro Ambulance. Shari is responsible for managing ambulance crews. There's no such thing as a typical day for emergency responders. In addition to her office work and field management duties, Shari performs routine tasks like inventorying medical supplies and collecting items to deliver to her busy teams running emergency calls. On September 4th, 2008, Shari had just completed a regular work shift and then attended the Willam chapter's 2008 Real Heroes Breakfast. Driving home northbound on I-5, she was 4 cars behind a high-speed motorcycle crash. Shari's many years of service in emergency medicine were called into action. She worked feverishly to save a man she had never met. She initiated CPR, leading a team of people on the scene to help until an ambulance arrived. Despite Shari's valiant efforts, the man's life could not be saved. The accident scene caused one northbound lane of I-5 to remain closed for over 4 hours. Traffic accidents were not Shari's area of responsibility. Even without her tools of the trade, Shari stopped anyway and did all she could, above and beyond the call of duty. Our next medical hero is Heidi Coleman, who, like Shari, responded to an accident scene.
August of 2008 was an exciting time in my life because I'd just received my licensure from the State Board of Nursing and I'd just gotten a job at Silverton Hospital. That summer I was also a health and safety instructor with the American Red Cross. I was teaching classes in both Spanish and English. Speaking Spanish is a big part of how I want to help people, especially since there's such a large population of Spanish-speaking people in our community. On Saturday, August 29th, I was heading home from my in-laws' house with my husband. We were driving down a very dimly lit part of Highway 99. All of a sudden, we saw sparks flying and this car was just spinning out of control. It happened so quickly. An SUV, which had been hit by a truck, was on its side. There was glass and debris everywhere. People were just standing around. They'd called 911, but they didn't know what else to do. I couldn't get to the people in the SUV, and there was a lot of smoke coming out of the truck. There were 2 men inside, and they were coughing, so I knew they were breathing. I told them, I'm a nurse, soy una enfermera, both in English and in Spanish. One of the men had pain in the side of his neck, shoulder, and chest. He was moaning. I had the men sit very still while I provided support to the man's head and neck. I kept talking, asking, ¿Tiene dificultad en respirar? ¿Siente mareado? ¿Cómo está? I could also hear people in the SUV yelling and crying, so I knew they were breathing too. But some of the bystanders began to rock the SUV, trying to tip it over. I yelled to them in Spanish, Deja a la gente donde están, por favor, no lo muevan. Soy una enfermera. Para proteger a esa gente necesitamos asegurar que no mueven sus cabezas ni sus espinas, por favor. Soon the ambulance and firefighters arrived. The EMTs who arrived did not speak Spanish, so I interpreted for them. During an emergency situation, it's best to speak the person's first language if possible. In those times, people cannot always communicate well with you in their second language. The firefighters had finished cutting the top off the SUV. They were able to get a female out and onto a spinal board. She kept saying, Ay, no puedo respirar, no puedo respirar, es demasiado apretado. The EMTs used a pediatric neck brace on her, and then she was comfortable. So I felt like my translations really helped her care. It just goes back to what we teach at the Red Cross in all of our classes. If it wasn't for those classes, I don't think I would have responded the way I did. It was very hectic. There was a lot going on, cars everywhere, people screaming and crying, smoke. I just kept thinking, what can I do? I kept going back to the basics: airway, breathing, and circulation. I think the Red Cross does a good job of teaching people to help others by doing what you can while keeping yourself safe at the same time.